All a Heart Needs, Callaways No. 5, written by Barbara Freethy, narrated by Sandra Michelle. Chapter 1. She was beginning a new adventure, Jessica Schilling thought, as she walked through the doors of Drake's, a nightclub in San Francisco's North Beach neighborhood, with her friends, Nicole and Emma. She was on the verge of something exciting. She just didn't know what that something was yet, but it had to be better than what had come before. At 27, she'd lived through a lot in the past 3 years. The death of her husband, the kidnapping of her stepson, and a move to San Francisco after her son had been reunited with his twin brother Brandon. It had been a crazy couple of months. She was definitely not living the life she'd ever imagined for herself, but she was going to try to keep rolling with the punches. But tonight wasn't about the past. It was about fun and letting loose a little. She hadn't been to a club like this in 4 years, not since she'd gone from Vegas dancer to wife and stepmother. She hadn't ventured out on a Friday night to do something other than pick up pizza or take her kid to a movie in months, and she was looking forward to a night out with the girls. She'd traded in her usual jeans and a t-shirt for a red miniskirt, high-heeled black boots, and a lacy top under a short black jacket. She wore her long brown hair down, and it now danced around her shoulders in thick waves. She'd put on more makeup than she'd worn in years, and for the first time in a long time, she felt young again, hopeful, maybe even a little reckless. "It's packed in here," Emma Callaway shouted as they walked through the crowded room. Emma was a slender woman with short, silky blonde hair that angled off her face and highlighted her bright blue eyes. Emma wore skinny jeans with high heels and a silky sheer blouse over a black camisole. On the other side of Emma was Emma's older sister, Nicole, who had blonde hair that was a little longer than Emma's and eyes that were a lighter shade of blue. Nicole had upped her look tonight by trading in her usual conservative mom clothes for a short, clingy dress that showed off her legs and curves. "I told you we should have come earlier," Nicole said with a frown. "Drake's is always packed on a Friday night." "I couldn't get off work," Emma replied. "You always use that excuse, Em." "Because it's always true." Jessica let their argument go on without her. She'd gotten to know Emma and Nicole pretty well the last few months, and she was used to their friendly bickering. She'd been an only child, so she was often fascinated by their sisterly interaction, and wished she had a sibling to not only spar with, but also share her life with. And Emma and Nicole didn't just have each other. They were part of the big Callaway family and had 6 other siblings, one of whom they'd come to see perform tonight. Her heart fluttered at that thought, knowing that the invitation of a night out with the girls had become much more exciting when Emma had told her they were going to see Sean's band perform. She'd met Emma and Nicole's brother, Sean, 3 months ago during the kidnapping ordeal. Nicole's son, Brandon, had also been taken, and it was then that they'd discovered the 6-year-old boys were identical twins that had been separated at birth. During that terrible time, Jessica had found an instant connection with Sean, and she'd often wondered since then if they'd met under different circumstances, or at a different time, if they would have acted on the attraction between them. But on the few occasions she'd seen Sean since she'd moved to San Francisco, he'd been standoffish, making her wonder if she'd imagined the sparks, or if they'd only been on her side. Not that it mattered. She wasn't looking to get involved with anyone, much less a musician. She had her hands full raising her son and sharing co-parenting duties with Nicole and her husband Ryan. Since the boys had been reunited, they'd all agreed that it was important to keep them together as much as possible. But she wasn't going to think about all that tonight. She was excited to see Sean perform, and there was a small, slightly vain part of herself that thought it would be nice for him to see her at her best and not at her worst. Maybe it wouldn't be so easy for him to ignore her. She should probably be careful what she wished for, because while Sean's disinterest bothered her, she didn't know what she would do if he were interested. Love had always scared her, and having lost her husband in an accident 16 months earlier, she
Sample complete. Ready to continue?